All right, architects, welcome. Today, we're going to build a really clear, practical framework for governing your generative AI workloads on Azure. This is for you, the folks in the driver's seat, who are tasked with making sure all this incredible innovation doesn't outpace safety and control. So let's dive right in.
Okay, I want you to picture this. Your company is just days away from rolling out a brand new, powerful internal AI assistant. The hype is real, everyone's excited about the productivity boost, but you're the architect. And the one question that's probably keeping you up at night is this thing really secure? Are we ready for this? That single question, that's exactly what we're going to unpack today. So here's our game plan. It's all practical, no fluff. We'll start with the AI Assistant challenge itself, then we'll dive into the three big pillars of governance: securing your data, controlling content, and managing costs and access. And then we'll wrap it all up with a handy checklist you can take right back to your team.
Okay, let's really set the stage here. Deploying an internal tool like an AI assistant, well, it's the classic balancing act for any architect, right? On one hand, you've got this just immense potential for innovation, but on the other, you're looking at a whole new world of risks to manage. Our job is to build the guardrails that make a safe deployment possible.
And this really gets to the heart of it. Our goal is never to be the department of no. It's to be the team that says, yes, let's absolutely do this, and here's how we're going to do it safely. We want to empower everyone, for sure, but our number one job, our non-negotiable duty, is to protect the organization.
So let's get into our first pillar, and honestly, it's the foundation for everything else: securing your data. All the other stuff we're going to talk about, cost control, content filtering, it all builds right on top of this. If you get this part wrong, things can go sideways fast.
This is the big one. This is the question that should be top of mind. When an employee asks that new AI assistant to summarize a confidential M&A doc or analyze some sensitive HR data, what is actually happening to that information? Where does it go? Who can see it? Answering this is step one.
So this is your first huge architectural decision in Azure. Think of it this way. On the left, you've got dedicated capacity. That's like your own private, isolated AI environment. It gives you the absolute best privacy and performance, perfect for really sensitive data. But, that comes with a higher price tag. On the right, you have multi-tenant capacity. This is more like a shared superhighway. Super cost-effective, super scalable. Look, this isn't just a tech choice, it's a risk choice. If you're in finance or healthcare, dedicated might be your only real option. But for a general-purpose chatbot, multi-tenant could be the smart play. It really comes down to your organization's risk profile.
Okay, so you've picked your capacity model, you've protected the data. Now we have to think about what people are actually doing with the assistant. This next part is all about making sure that every single interaction is safe, appropriate, and, this is key, fully auditable.
A massive tool in our toolkit here is Azure's built-in content filtering. Now, this is way more than just a simple keyword blocker. Think of it as a smart, automated safety system that's looking at both the user's prompt and the AI's response for any harmful content. It's your real-time first line of defense.
And here's how it works step by step. A user types in a prompt. Instantly, before the model even sees it, the content filter scans it. Based on your rules, it either lets it through or blocks it. But here's the most critical part for us, step 4. No matter what happens, the event gets logged. This creates that priceless, unchangeable audit trail.
I really can't stress this enough. In the world of governance, risk, and compliance, if you didn't log it, it basically never happened. Logging every single prompt and every single response is completely 100% non-negotiable. When the security team comes knocking, or when the auditors show up, these logs are your single source of truth.
All right, pillar number 3, this is where we get into the operational realities. Let's be honest, generative AI can get expensive, and it can get expensive fast. You need to have ironclad controls over who can use it and how much they can use. This is all about keeping the whole operation sustainable and secure.
So how do we actually do this? Well, it maps out pretty cleanly in Azure. Let's say your goal is to prevent overuse, one bad script going wild. The policy is rate limiting, and your tool is API management. What if you need to cap spending for a department? The policy is quotas, and again, the tool is API management. And to make sure only the right people can even get in, that's an identity policy, enforced with Microsoft Entra ID.
And that brings us to the real hero of this section. As an architect, you have to start thinking of Azure API Management as your central governance gateway for all these AI services. By routing every call through it, you get one single place to enforce all those rate limits and quotas. It just makes governing all this so much simpler.
Whew! We have covered a lot of ground pretty quickly here.
data privacy, content filtering, auditing, costs, access. So now let's pull it all together into a simple action plan that you can use the second this is over.
Here it is, your governance checklist. First, make that big decision, dedicated or multi-tenant. Base it on your data sensitivity. Second, turn on content filtering from day one. Don't wait. Third, log everything. I mean everything, prompts and responses. Fourth, use API management as your gatekeeper for rate limits and quotas. Fifth, lock it down with identity policies using Microsoft Entra ID. And last but maybe most important, remember, this is a starting point. You have to adapt this checklist for your organization's unique needs.
So as we wrap up, I want to leave you with this one question to take back to your team. When you look at everything we just talked about, data privacy, bad content, runaway costs, who has access, what is the single biggest GenAI risk that your organization needs to tackle right now? Answering that question, that's the first real step to building a secure and valuable AI-powered future.